So if we think about the world, what's the first thing that you imagine? Is it the universe? And we imagine the simulation of galaxies, how they interact, the mass between stars, and okay, maybe that's just me, but I think it's an interesting one. I think most of the time when we talk about open world simulation, and if you're not familiar, when we talk about open world simulation, we're talking about being able to drive around a world or run around a world or run drones around in a world like we perceive the world. And so we tend to think of our world when we think open world simulation, or maybe we're doing something like Call of Duty or Fortnite where that open world is a generated world, but it's generated to mostly look like our world. So what happens when we want to train an ML not only on synthetic data from an open world simulation, but when it's not exactly our world? So in the case study I'm going to run you through today, the goal was to train a machine learning model that is going to operate on Mars. And so this is a world that is real, and we can't just create a fictional one and then that be our definition of real. But in fact, there is a real Mars, but it's got some issues as far as us interacting with it. And so this case was, we have some rovers on Mars. As you may well know, things like Perseverance right now is running around gathering samples on Mars that will hopefully get returned to Earth from the Mars sample return. So as it's running around gathering these, what operators have to do is they have to teleop the robot to drive it around, meaning they're manually driving the robot. And the distance of Mars to us at the speed of light is at the very best a little over 3 minutes, and at the very worst a little over 22 minutes. So when you go to drive that robot, you say, all right, I want you to go 10 feet, and then it looks like there's a rock we're gonna have to navigate around, drive 10 feet and stop. I might have to wait 22 minutes for the robot to get the signal, 22 minutes for me to get that back, and now I'm gonna wait until I get the data back after the robot's driven. So it could be a 45-minute round trip with me interacting with this drive.